Kenya, a land where sun-baked savannas meet snow-capped peaks and acacia shadows stretch across golden grass. Here, life moves to a wilder rhythm. Lions roar at dusk. Hyenas laugh under silver moonlight. And birds trace sharp cries across an endless sky. From the sprawling wetlands of the Great Rift Valley to tangled river forests where shadows dance, to the rugged highlands cloaked in cool mists. This country shelters some of the most striking and extraordinary birds on Earth. On open plains, secretary birds stalk with deliberate grace, hunting snakes beneath a wide blue canopy. And along quiet rivers, Hadada Ibises call at dawn, a harsh, laughing music that wakes the land. In this episode from BBTV Official, we journey through Kenya's breathtaking wilds to meet over 30 remarkable birds whose feathers, calls, and untamed stories capture the very soul of this iconic land. If you love exploring nature's wonders, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss more adventures into the world's most beautiful and mysterious creatures. Soki Scops Owl, Otis Irenaeae. Let's kick off our journey through Kenya's most beautiful birds with a creature straight out of a forest legend, the Soki Scops Owl. Its scientific name, Otis Irenaeae, pays tribute to Finnish ornithologist Irenaeus Lane, who helped bring this elusive owl to light. In local stories, glowing forest spirits are said to watch from the trees, and many think these tales were born from sightings of this owl's fiery orange eyes. This tiny owl lives almost exclusively in Kenya's Arabuko-Sokoke forest, with just a sliver of its range dipping into northeastern Tanzania. It favors lowland coastal woodlands, thick with brachystegia trees and dense underbrush. As one of the most range-restricted owls on Earth, it truly embodies Kenya's unique wildlife. At only about 6.5 inches long, it's remarkably small. Its plumage is a masterwork of camouflage, a subtle mix of browns and grays that blend perfectly with the mottled forest light. But it's the brilliant reddish-orange eyes that steal the show, like tiny lanterns glowing in the dusk. What truly makes this owl unforgettable is its eerie, high-pitched trill that echoes through the evening forest. Unlike powerful raptors, it relies on stealth, swooping silently to snatch moths, beetles, and other insects from the dark. When nesting, the Soki Scops owl picks old tree cavities, laying 2 to 3 eggs. Both parents stand guard, ensuring their chicks fledge safely just weeks later. It's a brief, hidden family saga played out beneath the thick canopy. So if you ever find yourself under Kenya's coastal trees at twilight, picture those glowing eyes watching, turning every rustle into part of their secret woodland stage. Kikuyu Whitey, Zosterops kikuyuensis. Our next stop among Kenya's most stunning birds brings us to the highland forests, where tiny flashes of green and yellow dart through the mist. Meet the Kikuyu Whitey. Its scientific name, Zosterops kikuyuensis, links it directly to the Kikuyu people and the lush central highlands they call home. This bird is found almost exclusively in Kenya's montane forests, especially around Mount Kenya and the Aberdare Range. It thrives in cool, moist woodlands thick with moss-covered branches, often flitting in cheerful flocks that light up the canopy. Measuring just about 4.5 inches long, the Kikuyu Whitey is small but striking. It sports olive-green upperparts, a bright yellow throat and belly, and of course, the signature bold white ring around each eye, like a tiny pair of spectacles that give this bird its charming name. What really makes the Kikuyu Whitey stand out is its intensely social nature. These birds rarely sit still, constantly hopping from twig to twig, chattering to each other in soft, buzzing calls. They often gather in mixed species feeding parties, adding energy and color wherever they go. Their diet is a lively mix of insects and small fruits, which they pick with quick jabs of their fine bills. This feeding style helps control insect populations and spreads seeds throughout the forest, tiny but vital roles in maintaining their habitat. When it's time to breed, these white eyes weave delicate cup nests hidden among leaves, laying 2 to 3 pale eggs. Parents share the duties of feeding and guarding, ensuring their chicks grow fast and join the bustling canopy life. So next time you wander Kenya's Emerald Highlands, listen for the soft chatter that reveals these tiny forest jewels, dancing among the branches in endless green and gold. Jackson's widow bird, Euplectes jacksoni. Imagine walking through Kenya's misty highland meadows at sunrise when a streak of flowing black lifts above the grass, its tail trailing like velvet streamers. That's Jackson's widow bird, named Euplectes jacksoni, after explorer Frederick Jackson, who first documented this stunning species. This bird is almost entirely a jewel of Kenya, found mainly in the upland grasslands around the Aberdare Range, Mount Kenya, and the Mau Escarpment. These cool, open fields dotted with wildflowers are the perfect stage for the widow bird's dramatic performances. Roughly 6 inches long, about the size of a small robin, this bird doesn't look extraordinary outside breeding season. But come courtship time, males transform. They grow silky jet-black plumage and tails that can stretch over 20 inches, paired with a fiery orange shoulder patch. In flight, their tails ripple behind them like living banners. What truly makes Jackson's widow bird unforgettable is its elaborate mating dance. Males leap and hover just above the grasses, tails sweeping, wings fluttering, all while showing off vivid patches and calling softly to lure females. It's a performance worthy of any stage. Their diet is mainly grass seeds, plus insects plucked delicately from stalks and leaves. By feeding this way, they help control pests and keep their lush grassland homes thriving. For nesting, females weave rounded grass nests tucked deep in tall tufts, laying 2 to 3 eggs. Males keep performing nearby, hoping to impress additional mates, making the breeding season a rolling spectacle of color and movement. So next time you're exploring Kenya's emerald uplands, watch the horizon. A drifting black streamer might just be one of nature's most enchanting dances, playing out right before your eyes. Goldenbreasted Starling, Lamprotornis regius. Catch a shaft of sunlight slicing through Kenya's acacia woodlands, and you might see it explode into shimmering emeralds, sapphires, and molten gold. That living jewel is the golden-breasted starling, named Lamprotornis regius, where regius fittingly means royal, a nod to its regal colors. This spectacular bird is found in dry savanna and thorn scrub across East Africa, with Kenya offering some of the best places to spot it, especially in the north and northeast. They thrive among scattered acacias, where low bushes and open ground make perfect hunting grounds. Measuring around 10 inches long, the golden-breasted starling looks as if someone dipped it in precious metals. Its head and upper parts flash iridescent green and blue, shifting in color with every tilt. But it's the rich golden yellow breast and belly that truly steal the show, glowing like a sunrise in feathers. What sets this starling apart isn't just its breathtaking plumage, it's also its tight family bonds. These birds live in cooperative groups, where several adults help feed and defend a single nest. They chatter constantly, a chorus of whistles and trills that echoes through the savanna. Their diet is mostly insects, which they deftly pick off branches and snatch from the air. Small berries round out the menu, helping spread seeds across their sun-baked home. When breeding, they build nests in tree cavities or old woodpecker holes. Both parents, and often helpers, bring food to the hungry chicks, keeping family ties strong. So next time you're exploring Kenya's golden plains, watch for a sudden flash of jewel tones dancing among the thorns. The golden-breasted starling turns an ordinary day into something truly dazzling, one gleaming feather at a time. Violetbacked Starling, Cinerasynclus leucogaster. You're walking through Kenya's sun-dappled woodland when a sudden flicker of deep purple dances between the leaves. It's almost like a living gem, vanishing and reappearing with every turn of light. That's the violet-backed starling. Its scientific name, Cinerasynclus leucogaster, simply describes its striking colors. Cineris hints at sunbirds, and leucogaster means white belly. This dazzling little bird is widespread across sub-Saharan Africa, but in Kenya it finds some of its most welcoming habitats: open woodlands, forest edges, and even quiet gardens where fruiting trees beckon. About 7 inches long, the male violet-backed starling is a showstopper. His upper parts are cloaked in iridescent violet that shifts from royal purple to sapphire depending on how the sun hits, while the underparts stay brilliantly white. Females, by contrast, wear warm brown streaks, a subtler beauty, perfect for blending in while nesting. What truly makes this starling unforgettable is the way it catches light. Perched on a high branch, it seems to glow from within, every feather a tiny prism. Watching one shift and turn is like seeing a kaleidoscope come to life. Their diet revolves around insects and ripe fruit. They're agile foragers, flitting through canopies to snap up beetles, caterpillars, or feast on figs and berries, helping disperse seeds as they go. For nesting, violet-backed starlings often take over old woodpecker holes or natural tree cavities. The female incubates, while the male stands guard nearby, ensuring their chicks soon add tiny bursts of violet to Kenya's treetops. So next time you find yourself under Kenya's rustling canopy, look closely. There might be a shimmer of purple waiting to steal your breath away, one sunbeam at a time. Lilacbreasted Roller, Coriaceus caudatus. Watch the open skies over Kenya's savanna long enough, and you might see a flash of blue and lilac twist into a daring dive. That's the Lilacbreasted Roller, performing one of its signature aerial stunts. Its scientific name, Coriaceus caudatus, simply means long-tailed roller, paying tribute to its acrobatic rolls and forked tail that cuts through the air like ribbons. This dazzling bird is widespread in sub-Saharan Africa, but Kenya's parks and open woodlands are among the best places on Earth to witness its breathtaking colors. It loves scattered trees and bushy savannas, where it can perch high and scan for prey, or show off in a whirl of feathers. At about 14 inches long, the Lilacbreasted Roller is a living rainbow. Its throat and breast glow in shades of soft lilac and rose, framed by turquoise and deep blue wings that flash electric in flight. A streak of green crowns its head, completing a palette that seems painted by the hand of a dreamer. What really makes this roller unforgettable is its fearless aerial displays. During breeding or territorial disputes, it will climb high, then tumble and roll downward, looping through the sky while letting out harsh, cackling calls, a spectacular show for any lucky onlooker. Its diet is mostly grasshoppers, beetles, and small lizards, which it pounces on from open perches. After catching a meal, it often bashes it against a branch to break it up before swallowing. For nesting, they favor tree cavities or old woodpecker holes, laying 2 to 4 eggs. Both parents guard and feed their chicks, soon adding more lilac flashes to Kenya's wild blue skies. So if you ever stand beneath Kenya's sunlit plains, keep your eyes up. A sudden tumble of color might just be the Lilacbreasted Roller, turning the sky into its personal stage. Northern Carmine Beeater, Marops nubicus. Follow a chorus of sharp, cheerful calls ringing across Kenya's riverbanks, and you might find a flock of brilliant red birds swooping and diving, tiny insects clutched in their slender beaks. That's the northern Carmine bee-eater, Marops nubicus, its name Marops, marking it among bee-eaters, while Nubicus ties it to the Nile region, hinting at its long presence across Africa. These dazzling bee-eaters thrive in Kenya's northern savannas and along sandy riversides, where vertical banks give them safe nesting walls and wide-open skies provide a perfect hunting ground. Roughly 14 inches long, the northern Carmine bee-eater is a living ember streaking through the air. Its body is cloaked in brilliant carmine red, fading to pink near the throat, with turquoise blue crown and rump that flash electric in the sun. A slim black mask traces over each eye, lending it a dash of drama. What truly makes this bird unforgettable is its high-energy lifestyle. They form bustling colonies, perching together in rows before launching into sudden acrobatic chases. With rapid wing beats, they snap up bees, wasps, and dragonflies mid-air, returning to a perch to smack the stinger out before swallowing. Their diet isn't just about bees. They feast on all kinds of flying insects, making them both spectacular and helpful in controlling pests. By hunting in flocks, they also keep a watchful eye on predators. For breeding, they carve long tunnels into sandy riverbanks, sometimes several feet deep, ending in cozy nesting chambers where they lay 4 to 5 eggs. Colonies fill the air with constant chatter, a living symphony of Kenya's wild rivers. So next time you wander near Kenya's waterways, listen for that busy chorus. Then look up to see flashes of crimson and blue, dancing like living jewels against the bright African sky. African green bee-eater, Marops viridissimus. There's a special kind of brilliance that appears when the Kenyan sun hits a small bird perched on a twig. Suddenly, it seems the very light itself turns green. That's the African green bee-eater, known scientifically as Marops viridissimus, which fittingly translates to the greenest of bee-eaters. Widely spread across sub-Saharan Africa, this bee-eater feels especially at home in Kenya's open savannas, thorny scrublands, and along bright riverbanks. It favors scattered trees and bushes that offer clear views of the sky, a perfect vantage point for spotting tiny winged prey. Stretching just about 8 inches from its slender beak to the tips of graceful tail streamers, this bird is a delicate masterpiece. Its vivid green plumage catches and plays with sunlight, shifting to soft turquoise along the throat, with a fine black line crossing ruby-red eyes, like a touch of careful ink on a painting. What makes the African green bee-eater truly mesmerizing is its hunting ballet. It watches patiently from a perch, then launches in swift looping flights to snatch bees, wasps, and dragonflies right out of the air. Back on its branch, it smartly knocks the sting off before enjoying its catch. These agile birds help keep insect populations balanced, and they often hunt in lively groups, calling to each other with bright, rolling chirps that add music to Kenya's warm afternoons. Breeding season finds them digging slender tunnels into sandy banks, leading to cozy nests where 4 to 6 eggs wait to hatch. Both parents share the task of feeding chicks, soon guiding them on their very first dazzling flights. So whenever you pass through Kenya's sunlit grasslands, look for a flicker of green that seems almost made of light, a tiny hunter turning the air itself into its emerald stage. Purple roller, Caracias naevius. Strolling across Kenya's sun-baked savanna, you might suddenly hear a harsh, rattling call break the quiet, rough, almost mechanical. That's your first clue you've stepped into the realm of the purple roller. Its scientific name, Caracias naevius, comes from Greek roots meaning crow-like and spotted, a nod to both its sturdy shape and faint markings. The purple roller ranges across much of sub-Saharan Africa, but Kenya's open woodlands and thorny plains offer some of its favorite haunts. It perches on exposed branches or power lines, scanning the dry landscape for the smallest flicker of movement. About 14 inches long, this roller stands out not with neon brilliance like some of its cousins, but with a regal blend of plum tones. Its plumage mixes mauve, reddish-brown, and subtle streaks of white across the chest, with flashes of deep blue visible on the wings when it takes flight. A strong, heavy bill completes its robust look. What truly sets this bird apart is how it breaks the stillness of the African bush. Its call, a raspy, staccato series of notes, echoes across the savanna, often startling travelers who expect only silence. Purple rollers hunt from high vantage points, dropping swiftly to snatch up large insects, small lizards, or even tiny rodents. With a powerful beak, it subdues prey before tossing it back in a single gulp. During breeding season, they often nest in abandoned woodpecker holes or natural tree cavities. There, 2 to 4 eggs wait under the watch of fiercely protective parents until fledglings grow strong enough to join the dry land symphony. So next time you're crossing Kenya's ochre fields under a wide blue sky, listen closely. A raspy burst might announce a purple roller standing guard over its sunlit kingdom. Trumpeter hornbill, Bicanistis buccinator. Echoing through Kenya's coastal forests comes a deep, hollow call, somewhere between a laugh and a distant bugle. This eerie chorus belongs to the trumpeter hornbill. Its scientific name, Bicanistis buccinator, literally means trumpeter, a perfect match for a bird whose voice can carry nearly a mile through tangled green. You'll find this striking hornbill across eastern Africa, with Kenya's Arabuko-Sokoke forest and the lush Shimba Hills serving as some of its favorite haunts. These birds favor dense tropical canopies, especially areas rich in fruiting trees, which offer both food and shelter high above the forest floor. Stretching about 24 inches from hefty bill to tail tip, the trumpeter hornbill sports a striking look. Its body is clad in sleek black, while the belly is a clean, contrasting white. But it's not just the booming voice that makes this bird unforgettable. Watch long enough, and you'll spot small family groups traveling through the treetops, pausing to toss fruits into the air and gulp them down whole. A lively spectacle amid the quiet leaves. Meals for the trumpeter. Hornbill revolve around figs, berries, and other soft fruits, supplemented by insects and small creatures they might catch while foraging. Breeding takes secrecy to a new level. The female seals herself inside a tree cavity using mud and fruit pulp, leaving just a narrow slit. Through this, the male delivers all her food until the chicks are grown and ready to break free. So next time you wander Kenya's shadowy forests, listen for that ghostly trumpet, proof that somewhere above, one of nature's strangest serenades is echoing through the emerald canopy. Abyssinian ground, hornbill, Bucorvis abyssinicus. Across Kenya's sun-bleached savannas, a dark figure strides through tall grass with deliberate, heavy steps. It's the Abyssinian ground hornbill, Bucorvis abyssinicus, whose name echoes its ties to ancient Abyssinia, modern-day Ethiopia, and the Latin for big raven-like bird, a nod to its imposing look. This remarkable hornbill roams open woodlands and grassy plains across eastern Africa, with northern Kenya offering some of the best chances to see it. This species spends most of its life on the ground, patrolling wide territories in small, close-knit groups. Standing nearly 40 inches tall with a wingspan close to 6 feet, the Abyssinian ground hornbill is a striking giant. Black feathers cloak its hefty body, accented by stark white wing patches that flash brilliantly in flight. A vivid blue patch marks the face of females, while males sport an inflatable red throat pouch that balloons impressively during booming calls. What truly makes this hornbill unforgettable is that deep, resonant sound. Early mornings often echo with its hollow booming, more felt than heard, carrying across miles of open country and warning rivals to keep their distance. Meals vary with opportunity. They stalk through grass hunting insects, lizards, snakes, and even small mammals. Using their powerful bills, they pry under rocks or jab into burrows, embodying patience and precision. Breeding means finding a secure tree cavity, though on these open plains that can be scarce. Females seal themselves inside with mud and droppings, leaving a slit through which the male dutifully feeds her and their growing chicks. So under Kenya's blazing sky, if you spot a regal black silhouette moving through golden grass, pause to watch. You're witnessing a living sentinel of Africa's wild heart, quiet, watchful, and utterly commanding. African pygmy kingfisher, Ispidina picta. In the dim tangle of Kenya's riverbank underbrush, a sudden spark of orange and cobalt zips across your line of sight, gone almost as quickly as it appeared. That tiny burst of color belongs to the African pygmy kingfisher. Its scientific name, Ispidina picta, means painted, a fitting tribute to its vibrant palette. This gem is found throughout sub-Saharan Africa, with Kenya's shady stream edges and woodland thickets offering perfect hideaways. Unlike many of its kingfisher cousins, it prefers dense, shaded spots away from open water, hunting quietly under the leafy canopy. Measuring just about 5 inches long, the African pygmy kingfisher is a marvel of compact beauty. Its back and wings gleam with bright azure blue, while the face and underparts glow a warm orange, topped by a delicate rufous crown. A tiny dagger-like bill stands ready, perfectly designed for its small prey. Beyond its striking colors, what makes this kingfisher special is how it seems to appear out of nowhere, flashing through low branches, then vanishing into shadow. Watching it feels almost like spotting a living jewel in mid-air. Its diet includes insects, spiders, and small lizards. Unlike water-diving relatives, it hunts by darting onto the forest floor or snapping prey off leaves and twigs, showing off impressive agility. Breeding happens in carefully excavated tunnels dug into sandy banks. At the end of these narrow passages, a cozy chamber holds up to 4 tiny eggs, with both parents tirelessly bringing back food once the chicks hatch. So whenever you wander Kenya's shaded forest edges or follow a quiet stream, keep watch for that sudden glimmer. It might just be the African pygmy kingfisher, nature's smallest masterpiece, lighting up the undergrowth with every flick of its wings. Pied kingfisher, Cerral rudis. Above a still Kenyan river, a small bird hovers in place, wings beating so fast they blur, before plunging headfirst into the water. That's the pied kingfisher. Its scientific name, Cerral rudis, ties back to Greek and Latin roots meaning water nymph and ruff, a nod to both its fishing mastery and spiky crest. This black and white marvel ranges widely across Africa and Asia, but Kenya's lakes and slow-flowing rivers are among the best places to watch its aerial performances. From Lake Naivasha to the banks of the Tana, it thrives wherever clear water hides schools of small fish. Measuring around 10 inches long, the pied kingfisher wears a striking monochrome outfit, snowy white splashed with bold black bands and spots. Its shaggy crest adds a playful touch, while long pointed wings and a sharp bill complete the look of a dedicated hunter. Unlike many kingfishers that wait silently on a branch, this species' signature move is to hover high above the water, perfectly still in space, scanning for a glint of scales below. Then it drops like a stone, bill first, disappearing with barely a splash, only to pop up seconds later with a wriggling prize. Meals mainly consist of small fish, but they'll also catch aquatic insects or tiny crustaceans. After snagging a meal, they often return to the same favorite perch to gulp it down. Breeding takes place in tunnels dug into sandy riverbanks, sometimes extending several feet. Here, a clutch of white eggs waits in the dark, with both parents fiercely protective and diligent in feeding their chicks. So next time you're near Kenya's tranquil waterways, look up. You might spot a black and white blur holding steady in midair, nature's tiny fisherman, dancing effortlessly above its mirrored world. Vulturine guinea fowl, Acrylium vulturinum. A sudden flicker of electric blue slips through Kenya's dry thorn scrub, then vanishes, just a hint that the vulturine guinea fowl is watching. Its name, Acrylium vulturinum, elegantly ties delicate to vulture-like, a nod to both its graceful feathers and bald, intense stare. These unique birds roam the semi-arid savannas and sparse acacia woodlands of northern and eastern Kenya. They prefer open ground scattered with low shrubs, giving them space to forage, but also quick cover when predators lurk. Reaching nearly 28 inches long, the vulturine guinea fowl is the largest of all guinea fowl. Its most striking feature is the cascade of long, glossy hackles striped in black, white, and vivid cobalt that drape over its shoulders like a royal cloak. Beneath, its chest blazes bright blue dotted with tiny white spots, leading up to that bare bluish-gray head and piercing eyes. What makes this bird unforgettable is how entire flocks glide through the grass almost like a single organism. One moment they're drifting silently, the next they freeze in eerie unison before exploding into awkward, high-stepping runs, hackles streaming behind them. Their meals include seeds, bulbs, insects, and fallen fruit, all scratched out of the dusty earth. As they forage, they turn over the soil, quietly enriching their dry ecosystem. When nesting, females tuck shallow scrapes into tufts of grass, laying up to a dozen eggs. Tiny chicks soon trail after the adults in tight little groups, quickly learning to dash for cover at the slightest hint of danger. So under Kenya's golden sun, watch the thorny shadows. Those flashes of cobalt weaving through could be vulturine guinea fowl, part ghost, part royalty, always keeping a wary eye on the world. Maasai ostrich, Struthiocamelus masaicus. A swirl of dust races across Kenya's golden plains, then clears to reveal towering legs and a bright pink neck, your unmistakable glimpse of the Maasai ostrich. Its name, Struthiocamelus masaicus, ties it to camels for those long, powerful strides and honors its deep roots in Maasai lands. You'll find this magnificent ostrich scattered across East Africa's vast open savannas, thriving in semi-arid grasslands dotted with acacia trees. Kenya's sweeping landscapes give it endless room to roam and spot predators from incredible distances. Standing up to 9 feet tall and tipping the scales at nearly 300 pounds, the Maasai ostrich is the largest living bird on Earth. Males flaunt striking black and white plumage paired with glowing pink necks and thighs, colors that become even more vivid in the breeding season. Females wear softer gray-brown, melting into the dry grasses to protect nesting sites. But what truly captures the imagination is their breathtaking speed. With wings slightly spread for balance, they can tear across the savanna at over 40 miles per hour, outpacing most threats with ease. Nature's ultimate running machine. Their meals range from tender shoots, seeds, and wild fruits to the occasional insect or small reptile. To grind tough plant matter, they swallow small stones, cleverly turning their muscular gizzards into natural mills. Breeding is a shared affair. Several females lay eggs in one shallow scrape, with a dominant major hen and a vigilant male partnering to guard and rotate the massive clutch until the next generation is ready. And in that blazing horizon where the sky meets sunburned grass, a pink head rising above the veld is more than just a bird. It's a living emblem of Africa's endless, untamed wild. Spurwinged Goose, Plectropterus gambensis. Across Kenya's marshes and seasonally flooded plains, a dark shape glides above shimmering water, catching the sun on white wing patches. There goes the spur-winged goose. Its scientific name, Plectropterus gambensis, links it back to Gambia, where early specimens were described, though today it thrives far beyond. These striking waterfowl inhabit a broad stretch of sub-Saharan Africa, with Kenya's wetlands, grassy floodplains, and river edges offering some of their best feeding and nesting grounds. They prefer open waters fringed with lush vegetation where they can graze and stay vigilant. Tipping the scales at up to 15 pounds and stretching over 3 feet long, the spur-winged goose is Africa's largest wild waterfowl. Its plumage blends glossy black with flashes of white on the wings and belly, and it carries a vivid red face patch, especially striking in breeding males. Beyond sheer size and armed wings, these geese often gather in impressively large flocks, grazing side by side across wet meadows or taking to the air in heavy, powerful flight that seems almost too labored for their bulk. Their diet centers on tender grasses, sedges, seeds, and water plants. They're also known to feed on small aquatic creatures, helping keep these ecosystems balanced. Breeding happens during Kenya's rainy months when seasonal pools appear. Females often nest in thick grass near water, laying up to a dozen creamy eggs that both parents defend with surprising aggression. Out on those glistening floodplains, where water meets grass under a burning sky, watch for dark shapes lifting off in slow, determined flight. Spur-winged geese, soaring sentinels of Africa's ever-changing wetlands. YellowBuild Stork, Hadada Ibis. A flash of saffron arcs across shallow water, bill dipping with silent precision. That's the YellowBuild Stork. Its scientific name, Hadada Ibis, pairs an old Greek term for a kind of crane with ibis, linking it to elegant waders seen across ancient lore. These graceful birds favor sprawling wetlands, slow-moving rivers, and seasonal floodplains that pulse with new life after rains. Standing motionless among reeds or stepping carefully over muddy flats, they blend effortlessly into landscapes alive with frogs and darting fish. At around 40 inches tall with a wingspan over 5 feet, the YellowBuild Stork is both stately and unmistakable. It wears soft white plumage brushed with a faint rosy wash, especially near the chest, offset by jet black flight feathers. Its namesake bill is long, slender, and vividly yellow, curving just enough at the tip to pluck prey with surgical skill. What truly sets it apart is how it hunts. Unlike many waders that rely solely on sight, this stork often sweeps its open bill side to side through shallow water, waiting to feel the sudden flick of a startled fish before snapping shut in an instant. Their meals include small fish, frogs, crustaceans, and aquatic insects, whatever the sweeping bill finds. Moving slowly and deliberately, they stir up the mud, coaxing hidden morsels into sudden flight. Nesting happens in loose colonies high in trees. They build bulky stick platforms where 2 to 4 pale eggs rest, guarded fiercely until downy chicks peek over the edges, demanding their share of fresh catches. Along quiet backwaters where reflections shiver and dragonflies dance, a streak of gold dipping through sunlit pools is more than just a bird. It's the living poetry of these gentle wetlands. SaddleBuild Stork, Ephiopyorhynchus senegalensis. A sudden rustle at the water's edge, and 2 piercing yellow eyes meet yours, steady, calm, almost sizing you up. That's the SaddleBuild Stork, Ephiopyorhynchus senegalensis, its Latin name paying tribute to the little saddle perched atop that extraordinary bill. They favor broad marshes, meandering rivers, and shallow floodplains dotted with islands of reeds. Wading through quiet backwaters, they seem less like birds and more like watchful sentinels, pausing often to scan their surroundings. Stretching nearly 5 feet tall, with a wingspan close to 9 feet, this stork commands attention. Crisp black and white plumage forms a formal cloak draped over lean shoulders. But it's the bill that stops you, a startling mosaic of scarlet, gold, and lacquered black, topped by a small frontal plate that truly looks like a tiny saddle. Males differ by their dark eyes, while females wear vivid yellow irises that seem to glow. Beyond looks, these storks are masters of patience. Long legs move without a ripple, the bill hovers just above water. Then, snap, a frog or fish vanishes. They feed on anything the shallows offer: small fish, frogs, crustaceans, insects, even the occasional rodent. Nests are sturdy piles of sticks high in trees, safe from prowling predators. 2 or 3 eggs rest inside, watched over by both parents until curious downy heads appear, eager to mimic the careful hunting below. So if you ever feel those unblinking eyes tracking you from across a muddy inlet, it's no illusion. The SaddleBuild Stork stands there, tall and unhurried, king of the shallows, quietly judging all who pass. Maribou Stork, Leptoptylos crumenifer. It's hard not to flinch when you first see the Maribou Stork standing motionless, its bare head and heavy bill giving off a strangely sinister air. Its scientific name, Leptoptylos crumenifer, loosely means slender-feathered with a pouch, perfectly summing up both its sparse plumage and that drooping throat sac. These towering scavengers thrive across Africa's open plains, garbage dumps, and lake shores. They've adapted fearlessly to human edges, mingling with vultures and hyenas wherever scraps or carcasses turn up. At over 5 feet tall with a wingspan stretching 10 feet, the marabou is built for gliding long distances. Its back is draped in dark gray, with wispy white underparts that seem almost thrown on. A naked pinkish head and neck help keep it clean while feeding on carrion. What makes this bird unforgettable is the eerie contrast: gangly legs and ghostly silhouette paired with delicate flight. Watching dozens spiral on warm updrafts, riding thermals with effortless grace, you might forget their grim habits, until they land and stalk forward with that massive bill. Meals are anything dead or dying: scraps of meat, fish guts, rodents, even other birds. They also snatch up insects, frogs, or any small creature slow enough to catch, playing an unglamorous but vital role in cleaning the landscape. Nesting happens high in trees, often in loose colonies. Large stick platforms cradle 2 to 3 eggs, with both parents sharing the messy task of feeding hungry, demanding chicks. And when evening comes and long shadows stretch across the plains, their stark shapes loom near the water's edge, part ghost, part caretaker of a wild world that depends on even the most unlikely custodians. Hadada Ibis, Bostrichia hagadash. Just before dawn, a harsh, laughing call shatters the soft morning hush. That's the unmistakable signature of the Hadada Ibis, Bostrichia hagadash, its name taken directly from that echoing cry that rings across lawns and riverbanks. These ibises thrive wherever moist ground provides grubs and worms. From lush parks and gardens to open wetlands and river edges, they're equally at home probing for food among reeds or striding boldly across short grass near villages. About 30 inches long with a broad wingspan, the Hadada Ibis might seem rather plain at first glance, clad mostly in earthy grays and browns. But catch it in the right light, and you'll see a stunning wash of iridescent green and violet dancing across its wings, an unexpected splash of brilliance on an otherwise modest canvas. What truly sets them apart is that voice. Their loud nasal calls aren't just typical. They're central to the bird's personality. Whether startled into flight or simply greeting each other at sunrise, these raucous cries serve as morning wake-up calls across much of their range. Feeding is straightforward. They stride with deliberate purpose, long curved bills plunging into damp soil to probe for beetle larvae, worms, and other hidden morsels. This simple foraging helps keep insect populations in check. Breeding nests are rough platforms of sticks tucked high in trees. 2 to 4 eggs rest inside, with both parents sharing duties until fluffy chicks appear, quickly learning the art of digging in mud alongside their watchful elders. So next time dawn breaks with a sudden wild chorus, pause and look up. Among spreading branches or striding through dew-kissed grass, the Hadada Ibis stands as a noisy, iridescent herald of a new day. Crested Franklin, Dendroperdix siphina. The Crested Franklin moves through dry underbrush with a quick, nervous gait, head bobbing slightly under its short, bristled crest. Its scientific name, Dendroperdix siphina, weaves together Greek for tree partridge, a nod to its woodland preferences, and an old local term reflecting its call. These small game birds make their lives in thorn scrub, miambo woodlands, and open savanna with scattered bushes. Light dapples across fallen leaves as they slip between shadows, perfectly at home in sun-baked clearings and the tangled edges of thickets. At about 12 inches long, they're smaller than many francolins, dressed in elegant earth tones, warm brown backs streaked with dark lines, pale underparts finely barred with gray, and a crisp white throat edged by a neat dark collar. They stand out most for their loud, rippling duet calls at dawn and dusk. Mated pairs often call together, voices overlapping in a rolling sequence that travels far across the brush, staking claims and strengthening bonds in their small family territories. Feeding happens on foot, heads low as they scratch through leaf litter for seeds, fallen berries, insects, and tender shoots. Each step disturbs the soil, stirring up small prey and helping aerate the ground in the process. Breeding pairs tuck simple grass-lined nests on the ground, hidden under shrubs. A clutch may hold 6 to 8 speckled eggs, with both adults fiercely protective once fluffy chicks hatch and begin to explore, learning the value of freezing still at the slightest sound. And when dusk paints long shadows across dusty clearings, watch for a flicker of movement and listen for that soft chorus, tiny guardians of the brush slipping back into evening's hush. Red-necked spurfowl, Paternistis afer. The red-necked spurfowl struts boldly along dusty tracks, each deliberate step betraying surprising confidence for such a small ground bird. Its scientific name, Paternistis afer, blends Greek for rock partridge with afer, the ancient Latin for Africa, rooting this species firmly on the continent. These sharp-eyed foragers favor open woodlands, scrubby hills, and the fringes of cultivated fields where scattered bushes provide both food and quick shelter. You'll often glimpse them near roadsides, dashing into cover with a burst of rasping cackles at the slightest disturbance. At roughly 15 inches long, they're sturdy, compact, and unmistakable. Rich dark browns and blacks cloak the back and wings, finely barred and streaked for camouflage, while the belly shows lighter hues. But the namesake is unmistakable. A patch of bare red skin glows on the throat and around the eyes, growing even brighter when agitated or during breeding. What truly sets them apart is that fearless posture. These birds often stand tall, head high, red throat pulsing, issuing loud calls that ripple across the land to mark territory and rally mates. Meals come from careful scratching through leaf litter and loose soil. Seeds, tender shoots, berries, and the occasional insect make up most of their varied diet, with each busy scratch helping turn the earth and scatter nutrients back into the ground. Breeding pairs build simple grass-lined nests on the ground, often tucked under thorny bushes. A typical clutch holds 6 to 10 eggs. Once hatched, tiny striped chicks scurry to keep up, learning to freeze or vanish at a parent's sharp alarm note. So if a harsh call cuts the warm air and a flash of red blinks through sun-bleached grass, it's likely this little sentinel, standing firm before ducking back into Africa's living tapestry. African Harrier Hawk, Polyboreoides typus. Long double-jointed legs cling awkwardly to a tree trunk, claws hooking into bark as the bird leans sideways to peer into a hollow. This is the African Harrier Hawk. Its scientific name, Polyboreoides typus, combines Greek roots for many food-taking and typical form. These adaptable hunters thrive in a mix of woodlands, savannas, and even urban parks. Wherever tall trees stand near open spaces, they find plenty of perches and endless cavities to investigate with their unusual climbing skills. At about 24 inches long, they cut a sleek figure with gray plumage above and paler underparts barred with black. A bare yellow face flushes deep red when excited or agitated, adding a sudden, fierce splash of color. Broad wings and a long tail banded in bold black and white complete the elegant but slightly menacing look. Nothing else quite matches how they feed. While most hawks strike from above, these use flexible ankles to cling and stretch deep into holes, pulling out hidden nestlings, lizards, bats, or insects. They also hunt traditionally, soaring with slow, rowing wing beats or drifting on thermals to pounce on prey below. Diet shifts easily with location and season, from tree frogs and rodents to fruits and oil palm nuts, a rare trait among raptors that helps them thrive in changing habitats. Breeding pairs build large stick nests high in the canopy, returning year after year. 2 to 3 eggs rest inside, with both adults bringing an eclectic mix of meals to demanding chicks. So if you ever spot a gray shape creeping up a trunk like some feathered cat burglar, take a moment. Among these branches, nature has crafted a quiet thief, patient, precise, and forever scanning for life hidden just out of sight. African Broadbill, Smithornis capensis. A tiny bird hovers just above a branch, whirring its wings so fast they blur, sending out a sound like a toy motor. That's the African Broadbill, Smithornis capensis, named after early ornithologist Sir Andrew Smith and the Cape region where its first specimens were noted. These elusive songbirds prefer shady undergrowth in moist forests, riverine thickets, and tangled edges of woodlands. In the soft gloom beneath towering trees, they often go unseen until that strange mechanical whir gives them away. Only about 5 inches long, they're plump and compact, clad in muted browns with subtle streaks and a faint mottling on the belly. A tiny bill belies the power needed for their unique wing-vibrating display, while dark eyes seem always alert for any movement. It's that bizarre hovering performance that truly sets them apart. During breeding season, males perch or flutter just above a favored spot, rapidly vibrating their wings to produce a buzzing that carries surprisingly far, all in hopes of impressing a hidden female nearby. Foraging happens quietly among low branches and fallen logs. They snatch up insects and small spiders, gleaning methodically through moss and leaf litter, rarely venturing into open spaces. When it comes time to nest, pairs build delicate purse-shaped structures suspended from slender twigs, well hidden among leaves. Inside, 2 to 3 eggs rest in safety, eventually yielding downy chicks that soon learn the art of silence and shadow. And if you ever pause in a dim forest where dappled light hardly touches the ground, listen closely. That odd, gentle buzz drifting through the trees is more than a curious noise. It's a tiny heart in full display, hidden somewhere just beyond your gaze. Spotted ground thrush, Zuthera guttata. A cautious figure moves over leaf litter, pausing every few steps to tilt its head and listen. A dance of freeze and flicker that gives away the spotted ground thrush. Its scientific name, Zuthera gutata, simply means spotted animal of the ground, a direct tribute to its lifestyle and plumage. Favoring dense undergrowth in coastal forests, riparian thickets, and moist evergreen woodlands, these birds slip almost invisibly through the shadows. They thrive in places where sunlight breaks the canopy only in scattered shafts, turning the forest floor into a dappled mosaic. Around 9 inches long, they're cloaked in warm olive brown above and a creamy white belly below, lavishly marked with dark spots that look painted by hand. A fine line above each eye lends them a delicate, watchful expression, perfectly suited to their careful, deliberate movements. What makes them stand out is that stop-start foraging style, hopping forward, freezing, tilting their heads to catch the faint rustle of beetles or worms moving under leaves. When they strike, it's with swift precision. Meals consist mostly of insects, spiders, snails, and the occasional small frog, gleaned from moss, rotting logs, and the moist soil of the forest floor. In doing so, they help keep the tiny invertebrate world balanced. Nests are often low in shrubs or small trees, woven cups of twigs and rootlets. A clutch of 2 to 3 eggs rests within, guarded carefully until downy chicks emerge, already mimicking the start-stop caution of their parents. So, if you ever wander through a hushed grove and spot a soft shape that seems almost to vanish between sun patches, watch closely. It might be one of these quiet gems, more spirit than bird, stealing through its private, shadowed world. African pied wagtail, Motacilla aguimp. A slender little bird bounces along a muddy bank, tail wagging sharply up and down as if driven by an invisible spring. That's the African pied wagtail, Motacilla aguimp, its name rooted in Latin for little mover, a nod to the ceaseless motion that defines its every step. These lively insect hunters thrive near water, whether a slow village stream, bustling riverside market, or rocky lake shore. They seem perfectly at home on stones slick with algae or hopping confidently across floating vegetation, forever chasing tiny ripples that hint at prey. About 7 inches long, they wear striking black and white, inky crown and back contrasting with a bright face and underparts, all punctuated by a bold eyebrow stripe. Their long tail, constantly pumping, is like a metronome set to the rhythm of water and light. What truly makes them unforgettable is that tireless wag. Even while perched, they seem to balance on nervous springs, tails bobbing as if tapping out silent messages to the river's surface. They forage by quick darting runs and sudden stops, pecking at mayflies, small beetles, or the occasional spider that ventures too close to the water's edge. Every so often they'll dash into the shallows, stirring up insects and snatching them in midair. Nests are neat cups tucked into ledges, stone crevices, or even under bridges, anywhere near water. Inside, 4 or 5 speckled eggs rest safely until hungry chicks hatch and crowd the rim, demanding the next morsel. So next time you follow a stream's lazy bend and catch a flash of black and white flicking from rock to rock, pause a moment. In that simple dance of tail and ripple lies a delicate balance, a tiny spirit perfectly tuned to the water's quiet pulse. Across Kenya's sunlit savannas, tangled river forests, and cool, misty highlands, every bird we've met carries a tale of survival, splendor, and the timeless wild. Their plumage holds the blush of dawn and the gold of fading day. Their calls echo across open plains and deep valleys, like ancient songs still threading through this living land. Together they form a vivid chorus, a reminder that Kenya's beating heart is not just found in lions' roars or elephants' trumpets, but in every flick of a wagtail's tail and every gleam on a roller's wing. Thank you for joining BBTV Official on this journey into Kenya's avian wonders. If these remarkable birds sparked wonder in you, help us keep their stories soaring, subscribe, and tell us in the comments which bird stole your breath today. Until next time, may the wild music of Kenya follow you wherever your own path leads.